Hi guys, and welcome to another edition of Prohire TruckTV. And today, I'm glad to say, we're looking at something a little different again. And you might have told by my tyre, it's a black cab. Actually, it's not a black cab, it used to be one, of course, and this is manufactured by LEVC, which have been involved with manufacturing electric taxis for the great city of London for quite some time now. And towards the latter half of this year, and certainly a month or so ago, they started production with this new vehicle that we're going to show you today and take you out in it. So realistically for me, is it a black cab? Is it a van? Why don't we have a look at it and really find out? Well, actually it is a van on the back half, but the front half is a cab, you know, and it's very good. I really like it, and when you see realistically what it's capable of doing, it's very interesting, and that's why I like it so much. The interest for me is why it's as interesting as it is, and I think it's a crossover as well. So actually, is it petrol or is it electric? Actually, it's a little bit of both, and I'll talk you through that very shortly. The back half of it clearly is a commercial vehicle and cleverly designed with a good payload, around 800 kilos, you know, with a really highly built and great quality body, which isn't metal. You know, it's a plastic carbon body, but actually it's very strong and it looks really good. And the space inside this little vehicle is immense, and I think they've done a great job. They really have done a great job. And you know, having something which is great, having something which is designed around something which is iconic and built in and assembled in Coventry, it's amazing, amazing. And we're going to go back to the factory in the new year, and we'll bring you some more details from there. Of course, what's not to like? A great big side loading door. And let's be honest, you know, absolutely spot on for that urban delivery. So what I wanted to try to do as well is show you something which I don't think anyone will expect, and that for me is probably the most interesting thing of all. So I'll dispense with this for the moment, and we'll have a look under the bonnet. And quite often when we're looking at electric vehicles under the bonnet, there's these days not a great deal to see, and most people have seen a batch of wires and a big box. This is going to be different. Let's get this bonnet open. It's in the front half, it's still, you know, very taxi-esque, because that's what it is. Open the bonnet, and what you see in there is a 3-cylinder petrol engine. Yes, it is a 3-cylinder petrol engine, a Volvo engine, 1.5 litre. Now this engine doesn't drive the wheels. This engine actually is set up to charge the battery if the battery goes down. Now this is complete with a 30 kilowatt powertrain, or power cell, so lithium-ion batteries, which drives the vehicle, with a range set up of what we're saying is, or being told, is 58 miles. It's set primarily, I guess, from the taxi perspective, but this engine will allow you to go much further, and what they're telling me is that the range extender will bring you to a mind-numbing 300 miles, which actually is much more than anything else available in the market today. But you're burning petrol, and it's not fully electric, but it's very clever. So why don't we take it for a run and just see exactly what all the shouting's about. So let's buckle up and see what we've got. I mean, this is, you know, I have to say, not that I've ever driven a taxi, but you know, it's reminiscent of many of the taxis I've been in the back, and not that I'm a stockbroker or wear a bowler hat on a regular basis, but I thought it might bring some context to what we're trying to achieve here today, because ostensibly this is what you would see from a current black cab for London, or these days there are many other colours, of course, but for me it's always going to be the iconic black cab. Now this is a very different vehicle. The layout of the cab is as different as I've seen, and the different things that you see in here are quite strange. But let's start it up and see what we've got. And I guess some of the questions for me, if I was looking into this, is who is this company and what do they do? Well, this LEVC's been going about 100 years and been making some iconic vehicles for a long time. There we go, print to drive, and off we go. We're currently working on, it always works on electric, of course, as I said before, and the engine is only a range extender. The range extender extends it by a long way, but the range on the initial batteries at 30 kilowatts isn't a great deal. So at 58 miles, I think 30 kilowatts of batteries could probably do more. However, the clever bit around this is everything else. So LEVC, yeah, got about 100 years. It's now owned by Geely, one of the largest corporations in the world, and they've got in the stable, they've got the likes of Volvo Cars and Lotus and etc. So great pedigree and a really well-funded business. And when I was speaking to the guys in the week, you know, really some massive ambitions on creating some great equipment. Not trying to take over the world, but actually what they're trying to do is create iconic vehicles that suit the market that's coming. And why wouldn't you? I mean, what a great start this is to something like that. Now, as I said before, 31 kilowatts of batteries tends to be quite a number that people are using right now. So if you look at Renault and one or two others, around that range of on your 3.5 tonners. This, you know, 2.83 ton van with an 800 kilo payload, decent size in the back, and you know, always running on electric. You know, it's not the fastest vehicle in the world, but actually, do you need it to be? Straight to 30 miles an hour, it's an urban delivery vehicle. You know, absolutely, really good, really good. And I think from my perspective, certainly something that if you're interested in this kind of products and you're interested in this kind of green type of technology, it's one that you have to look at. And of course, as I say always, and will continue to say so, available on contract hire through Prohire and the Pro Green team. And if you wanted any further information, of course, we're happy to come out and demonstrate and go through the vehicles with you and all the surrounding accoutrements that you may need. So I think, you know, not that I've ever been a taxi driver, but this is maybe how it feels. You're sitting quite high up in the driving position, and I think that's really good from a round town perspective. But one of the thing I've been told, which I've yet to try, and we'll do that shortly, is the turning circle in this is reminiscent of the black taxis that you see in around the UK. And of course, one of the things for me is when you put your hand out, generally these guys are able to turn around on literally on a sixpence, and before you know it, there's none of the three-point turn business. You see them flying round and just facing the other way in seconds. And of course, it would be, you know, wrong of me not to try that and give it a go. And of course, as soon as we have an opportunity on the road here to try that, of course I will do that. Now, I think one of the things that I wanted to talk about was what happens when the battery goes lower. Now, when the battery goes lower, I'm being told, or when the battery goes to below a certain range, and I think once you've used 30 to 40 miles or so, what happens? The engine kicks in and starts to charge up the battery cells and producing enough power to keep the charge going as long as it's an urban and around town kind of delivery. Or you're trying to deliver power around town. I think, of course, you'd struggle if you were on the motorway doing some high speeds. But the thing about this is it's an urban delivery vehicle, and I think when you consider that this can be used for so many different things, you know, I think the price and structure and all the things that come around this, and that price comes in, you know, kind of sensibly, in the middle 40s, I'm being told at the moment. And of course, you then get your government grants behind that, and of course the Pro Green team will help you work through all of that and give you a price on a monthly basis to run one of these vehicles and go through it. Now, the charging side on this as well is not dissimilar to some of the others, and if you saw the EQC last week, not dissimilar to that. So 7 kilowatt onboard charging from an AC supply, DC and fast charging, it's up to 50 kilowatts. So again, you know, not too dissimilar, not too bad. Of course, 50 kilowatts of charging would hopefully fly the power into this within 35-40 minutes. And of course, on 7 kilowatts, you know, 3 or 4 hours. But actually, up to now, you know, the drive of it, the position of it, it's pretty good. So well done, guys. Yeah, it's a really nice thing to drive. And we're going to drive it a bit more and try and get some of the power out and see how the engines kick in and so forth. So have to say, we've been out on it now for a while, and I've come about only about 8 miles at this stage, but I just wanted to tell you that I've only used 2 miles of electric, which actually, because it's been urban driving, and this is very much an urban vehicle, and what I didn't want to do was take it and hammer it on the motorway, which would really eat the fuel, and I think we'd lose the benefit of trying to explain what this vehicle really is. Now, of course, when you look at the company, you might say, well, you know, who is it? But this company's invested £500 million sterling in their products and infrastructure in the last 6 years, and that's pretty impressive, I have to say. You know, and in fairness, for me, it's also been down now as what's another great milestone for this company, is the first dedicated EV production facility in the UK, and great that's in Coventry, and great that we're looking at something that we can call our own. I think there's an iconic part about this with the black cab too, and I think the part about this really does measure London well, and it measures the inner cities well, and if this lives up to the claims, which, you know, on the face of it, I have no real doubt they will, it's actually an interesting thing to have, you know, very interesting. And even the odd quirky element of having a petrol engine on board, which delivers power or produces power through an inverter to charge the lithium ion cells. It's funny, quirky, but it's got everything going for it that brings that absolute quirk to life. So it's got all of those things, and actually all those things make it actually more endearing and a product that you could nail your cap to, in as much as the advertising, the thought process about that, and really does work. And for me, you know, right now it's clean, green clean, really quite a rapid little machine, and urban delivery work, wow, you know, watch out guys, this is good. So one of the great things about this vehicle is its turning circle, and I think really for me, one of the iconic things you see with the black cab is the ability for it to take a complete circle and turn around. This vehicle can do exactly the same thing. So when you're working in an urban environment, to be able to spin round, turn around, get back on the game and fire on to your next delivery, it's all about that, and that's going to make the driver's job really much easier if that's possible. It's a tough job as it is, and anything that can add value to an urban delivery, great. And this, I think, will give you not only a bit of fun, it will give you a great quality commercial vehicle, and it will give you something you can work with for many years to come. So look, what's not to love? Let's have this and keep pushing, keep building British, and keep putting things out there. So guys, we've come to the end of another edition of Prohire TruckTV, and today we've been showcasing another electric vehicle, and of course through our sponsor ProGreen. I guess from my perspective, this little thing is great. It's an absolute icon, and I think, you know, being able to run these in your company with your colours and how you really want to brand from a British vehicle, you wouldn't go farther wrong with this. Now guys, you know, I hope you've enjoyed what we've managed to do today. Again, it's about a little bit of humour and trying to add some fun to what we're trying to do. If you like, please subscribe and like what we do. And of course, we're back again next week with something new. So keep watching, guys. See you soon.